Boy, I sure do love being productive. Whoa, is that Ditto from the hit video game Pokemon Pokopia for the Nintendo Switch 2? Holding a copy of the hit video game Pokemon Pokopia for the Nintendo Switch 2? Wow. Sure is a good thing I have internet. I guess it wouldn't hurt to play a little. Ditto, it's been like 3 weeks. I was supposed to be being productive. So far behind now, what am I supposed to do? Huh? Yeah, I guess I could do that. So you're considering living in the wonderful world of Pokemon. You got your bags packed and you want to figure out where you want to live. Well, fortunately, you have me here. I'm going to take you on the Pokopia World Tour, and we will figure out where the best place in Pokopia is for you to live. Also, this is the definitive way to get a 10-star town in every single town in Pokopia. If you copy these exact steps, you too can have your entire world at 10-star. Anyway, without further ado, let's go! Alright, welcome to Withered Wasteland. When you arrive in town by ferry, first thing you'll notice is the Slowbro Cabana. And they're not here. Great. Of course, Slowpoke aren't known to be the most reliable bunch, but they do have a nice spot for new visitors to relax. And they really like it humid. They complained a lot despite the fact that this is a beach. They really wanted it humid here. This water wasn't enough for them. But then adding this in the back, for some reason, that was enough. It's a different type of water. This is what they really wanted. They didn't want the ocean. Slowbro are notoriously picky. And to the right of the Slowbro Cabana, you'll see a beautiful lighthouse. Don't ask about that. Now we walk into town, and we are greeted first and foremost by the Charmander house. This is one of the prefab houses. It's very small, actually. It looks big, but then you go in here and what's he doing there? Dude, these guys get crazy. I've seen Charmeleon sleeping on the roof. Charmander stays out all night in parties. This place gets crazy, but they love fire. It's a nice party area. Everybody comes by to stay nice and warm during the night. But for some reason, maybe because their house is just so small, they just kind of refuse to sleep indoors. Or maybe they don't want to burn it down. We walk over here and we see Squirtle's house and Pidgey's little nest. They don't really have a lot going on. Item. And Slagoo's house is right next door. They all live just in nature right now. You know, he's got his little incense. He's next to it. He's just got a minute. And see, you know what's great about living in the Pokemon world? Sometimes they just give you mushrooms. I moved Charlotte down here because it used to just live next to a sign. Scyther still lives exactly where he spawned. He lives next to this tree, but next to that is Bulbasaur's house, which is where I also live. At least in this house, you know, being a realtor, we have like millions of dollars. Anyway, she gets the luxury bed. This is the Pokemon Center, as you can see. Something this town really promotes is community. You know, they all built this together, a nice community center. And if you go to the left here, you'll find the Lumberjacks. They all live here. All 3 of them. There is not one that lives somewhere else. Used to be Hitmonchan's house, but he has moved somewhere much better. So now this is just where Shieldon lives. He's the only fossil that lives here and not in Rocky Ridges. But we still love to have him around. And up here is where Drifloon lives, you know. If you ever want to have a balloon watching over you. A very nice, wholesome balloon. The community leader over here, Tangrowth, lives right behind the Pokemon Center. He just got tired of living in that boring old cave that he used to live in. And currently, this is currently what I would like to call Bugberg. It's got Venonat, it's got Parasect, it's got Illumise. I think Volbeat also lives over here. You know, it's a nice, peaceful little waterfall section. You know, there's a nice patch of grass here. Okay, just kidding. Wartortle lives here. I'm going to move him. You can live in this patch of grass. It's right next to the water. Bugberg is ultimately going to move way over here because I want it to. There's ongoing construction, as you can see. See, it's a nice fixer-upper. You could live in there. Nobody lives in that building, and you can design it however you want. Overlooking Bugberg, we have the Queen. She lives in this house. Along with her loyal subject. That's her big nightstand. They share a bed because they don't really stop floating ever. Pidgeotto also lives over here. He's not super happy with the spot, and unfortunately, also, Cubone does live over here. He actually is going to move to a new area that I've been developing since I started this town, which I will show you now. So yes, on the east, or on the west side, there is Bugberg. I like to call the opening here Starter Square. And first, we're going to go over here to the right. because this is Ground Gorge, featuring Tefnia. Inside this house, ignore Hoot Hoot. Inside this house, there is Drillbur. Drillbur is very happy because this used to be my house, and then Drillbur just kind of moved himself in. And over here is his dad. Excadrill lives over here in this house that I rebuilt. The R stands for really cool dad. And finally, to round out Ground Gorge, we have up here, Onyx. Onyx was living somewhere just in the middle of nowhere, and I had to move him all the way over here into the corner because otherwise he was going to be very unhappy. But overlooking Ground Gorge, we have, you know, I don't have a name for this area because this area was originally going to be where all the grass Pokemon lived, but bit by bit, other things just kept moving around. So I actually have a new idea for where I want all the grass guys because I wanted them to have this little garden here that they would maintain, but it is just kind of out of the way. Plus, I don't know how well they get along with the Hitmon Dojo. They have to make their own money. They sell rocks. They sell a waterproof seat. A waterproof seat's actually very important. I'll show you in a moment. They have separate beds because they only really care about working out. And this one's Tyrogue's bed. And one of them just, they really just like, honestly, they all just like sitting here and like crouching and sitting and sleeping. I don't know why they don't use their beds, but you know, maybe they're just too strong for it. And then here's all their workout material. They have a nice little gym over here where they do their thing. And when they're done, they shower up. I really should buy that chair for them and just put it right here so that they can sit there. There we go. It's something from being stinky gym bros. Oh, is he about to walk in there? Nope. He's just walking around. One of his good friends, though. I think I might move the birds up here. The birds seem like they would like being higher up. And either they move over here or they tend to my big berry patch. That's all that's really up here is all these trees. And Noctowl's up here. That's why I think I wanted all the birds to move here. And then also Gulpin is just here. He just was like, ooh, food. Well, we're almost done here at Withered Wasteland. So if you found anything that you would like to live in, go ahead and let me know. First, there is this mysterious temple. Nothing lives down there. It's fine, but if you want to live nearby that, I am actually working on building up a new habitat over here. This is where I want to move more of my grass types. I wanted it to be Grass Grove. Currently, we have the Jumpluff line living over here. All three of these guys are all good friends. They have their nice little picnic. And, of course, you see her right here, Venusaur. Venusaur loves her house, but it's not this. This is where all of the Oddish line lives, except for Gloom, who doesn't live in this town. All three of them get to live here and get to have fun. But this is Venusaur's house, and I would like to get all of the Bulbasaur line over here. I would show you inside. Venusaur's house is very not done, because the goal is to have all of the Venusaur line over here. But right now, it's just... She got some berries. She got some stuff going on. The walls are unfortunately white, and I really wish they weren't. I wish we could have them be a fun color, but, you know, it's fine. And nothing is upstairs. Just kidding. See, look, I got the setup for Bulbasaur. Venusaur's house is probably my favorite house here. It's got a nice aesthetic. Venusaur loves it. I want to get the other one. Item. I want to get the other guys in here. And it's technically speaking, there's room. If you want to live with Venusaur, there's still going to be a spot free. And the plan with this big lake was going to be to move Goomy and Sliggoo around here. Because right now, they're just kind of like sitting around. But I haven't gotten there yet. And there's Hitmonchan working. They do love working. Even though they technically have a dojo, they have a second place that they work, and it's right here. Ooh, that is a fancy chair. So yeah, if you're looking to buy, there's plenty of places. I didn't even mention Prinplump's house over by the waterfall. Plenty of places to find, plenty of new friends to have around here. All for you to explore. From Grass Grove to Ground Gorge, even up here in Fight Club. You could even be a founding member of Bugberg. And best of all, no property taxes. All right, we're moving on. All right, so maybe the Withering Waste didn't exactly hit. Maybe you didn't think that was a very good place to live. Maybe you prefer to live in a place that is a nice vacation all the time. Well, lucky for you, we have just the place. Welcome to Bleak Beach. There's some stuff here, I promise, that's not normally there. I'll be sure to talk to management about that. There's plenty of real estate here at Bleak Beach. And plenty of neighbors who are very inviting. Very open neighbors here. You're gonna become part of a community. As I said, we have plenty of open houses. Mencino over here does have a house by herself. And Zora and Zoroark, of course, share a house over here. One of them gets the bed, the other one gets to, they just sleep at different times. But there's plenty of empty houses around here, plenty of good moments for you to be able to get in and make some space. Really make a name for yourself here. Join a nice community. Of course, these two share a house here. They share a bed, which is very confusing considering how big they are, but they make it work. Chargerbug lives outside, so that's okay. Sometimes you have little friends. You have little friends that live outside next to your house. And if you walk over here, you get to see a little Torchic hut, and you get to see Zubat's house. Zubat's actually hosting guests. He's very excited about that. I'm not sure if he's sitting right now. He is, nope, not anymore. It's all right. Okay, this place rules, but you're average, huh? As you can tell, this is my house. This is where I live. The Professor, I want to get in. Professor. Okay. As you can tell, a realtor, a nice salesman has a nice house. Spent a lot of money on this house. Most of my money goes into my clients, actually. But, I make it work. 10 out of 10, everyone agrees this place rules. You, of course, have Meowth and Growlithe house over here. Exeggutor likes to live the big life on a hammock right next to his good friend Makukita, who actually, I told you, lives in a different house. Spinarak lives to live over here, and oh, look at him. This is just the kind of community that you'd be able to get here in Pokopia, specifically in Bleak Beach. Classic Spinarak. Torchic's birdhouse over here. Piplup lives in a nice little house similar to mine, but I think probably a little bit better. Yeah, Piplup has a much better table. This was planned to be someone's house, but they couldn't fit. I might need to borrow Piplup. There's a little bit of a mess over here next to Gloom's house. I wonder if Gloom's causing it. Oh yeah, and I forgot, Meryl and Azurill both live over here on opposite sides of the pool. We'll go back to that side soon. But Azumarill lives right there. Or right there. One of those two. Oh, apparently I asked for yellow paint. Look at this. This community is so great. Living right on the beach, all your friends nearby, Trubbish living in the trash, Crobat living in the trash. It's all great. And we have Pikachu's house. Pikachu and her little babies all live in this house together. We'll have plenty of more stuff here, but she likes to keep it nice and simple. And of course, upstairs we have Pichu's nice little area over here, nice and relaxed. Got it as a little picnic table, but we have Coxel's gamer pad. Look at his little gaming. He's got his little iPhone. He's got his, that's more like an iPad. No, that's iPhone, that's iPad. Yeah, he's got his whole little thing going on over here. This guy's a gamer. Oh my god. Tumamir. We gotta let them have their beauty sleep. These little babies. Little babies they're growing boys. They're growing boys. He doesn't even sleep on his own little gamer chair. They sleep together. This is the gamer room. We must leave them alone to game and sleep. Yeah, Pikachu and Dedenne hang out down here though. Kind of a little mama's boy over here. And this is for future guests, maybe? We'll see. Right over here, we have the Pommet place. They get to have a nice little house over here, hanging out. All three of them live over here with some guests. They have Flaffy hanging out to visit, and with even Chansey's over here saying hi. See Chansey's house soon enough. It's not really much of a house. Yeah, they live over here. I've seen them sleeping in this chair before. It's been very cute. Also, behind this house, I did skip one. There's one guy who lives over here, Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd is just big chilling behind the house. He's kind of like the landlord, I guess. Looks like we have an extra guest. Let's bring you over to where I think you'll fit best. At least for now. Well, you'll probably actually, there's a nice diamond place I can make for you, but you are a bit homeless right now. Don't worry, I'll get you someplace safe. For a little guy, he is very slow. He seems like he should be very scrungly and fast. Come on. This is the Haunted Mansion. These two are talking. What's this about? Magneton and Mimikyu are friends. They live next door. Magneton specifically asked to live next to Mimikyu. So Mimikyu popped up over here. I had to go over here and make a new place for him. Just like I can make a new place for you if you moved into Bleak Beach. Right now, it is just Magneton and Voltorb. This was eventually going to be a nice little game corner, not a casino. But instead, the game corner is just where Voltorb goes in games. This is also where Magnazone popped up, but I moved Magnazone over here. He's hiding behind the house. An Electrode lives here. Oh no, he's loving his game. All the island amenities you can want, including electricity. Plenty of Pokemon live over here next to the power plant. Of course, there's Electabuzz and Blaziken. That's it. Actually, that's not even true. I think there's one more. Yep, there's Garbodor. Maybe one day it'll be a complete building, but for now, they kind of like the nice open air, so I leave it that way. I believe this is where Spinarak and Grubbin live. Yep, there's Grubbin. There's Ariados. Ariados is over here too. There he is. Just remember, any patch of grass that's sitting around here could be a home just for you. Even the beach could be a home. This is where Combuskin loves to live. And I could make your home just like it. And there's Blaziken going back off to his work over at the power plant. This is the power storage. I was going to have somebody living here, but it didn't work out. Apparently this house is quote unquote too big without these doors here as well. So I just kind of gave up. And this is where Chansey lives. Nice, right in the middle of town. She gets to be the nice little helpful doctor to everyone in town. Perhaps you're more into the arts. Maybe you prefer the arts and crafts. Well, fortunately for you, we have our own art guru over here, right next to the berry fields. We have our guru and we have his apprentice, Elekid. Also Lapras. Lapras can't really do much on land though. But there's plenty of room for growth and expansion. Right over there is an abandoned cabana. It actually is free to move into. This is a building just waiting to have somebody leave their mark on the community. Sometimes you need a nice fixer-upper. And even the biggest fixer-upper of all. Behold, the ruins of a luxury cruise ship. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really done anything in here at all. Just kind of the bare minimum, but we do have the captain of this ship. Hello, Captain. It's a work in progress. I'm working with the captain. I filled up her pool for her, per her request. I don't know why it's layered like that. You know, just fancy pool stuff. So what do you say? Does Bleak Beach seem like the place for you? Does it seem like the perfect little spot for you to live? Well, if not, we have 2 more places to show you. Let's go. If you're one of the fine arts enjoyers of the world, well, I have just the place for you. Welcome to Rocky Ridges. It's raining. Well, despite that, I'm sure I can show you just how lively this place is. It's a nice mountain town full of windmills and fun. As soon as you walk in, you notice the life of the party over here, a nice stage. And you get over here and you get the Chef Dente. She makes the best food. So the culinary arts, covered. The musical arts, covered. Larvesta and Volcarona both live in here. They love their house. Look at this. They think it's awesome. They love their nice little... Oh, the current home is most agreeable. They both love their house. They love the nature. They love the fire. They love having a bed right in front of the fire. There used to be a table here, but they didn't really use it, so I took it. I can just give them this table, though. I'm just kind of carrying one around. And their favorite thing? Paper. They love letters. They love letters and words. Well, Volcarona does. But Larvesta likes sharp stuff and wooden stuff. And what is sharp and wooden? Pencils! Would you believe me if I told you that this whole town was funded by a nice benefactor? He's out of town today, but he does live here with his DJ. And a few other people, actually. This is actually a very cramped house. Right here, this is currently just Electivire's house. There's nothing in it. I'm not even gonna go in there and like, show you. He just lives here because he used to live over there and we had to make room for that. He used to live on this little spinning stand. But the spinning stand got repurposed, so now he lives in there. And, you know, classic, you know, Machamp gets to live next to his sax. Machoke gets to live next to his sax. Riolu gets to live, Scorbunny and Riolu get to live in the grass. The Clefairies get to live here, though. They get their nice little house decorated based off of them. They, are a bit vain. And although Chef Dente owns the entire restaurant, she does have a couple of helpers. First of all is Magmortar back here, you know, handling a lot of the bigger meals. She has her little chef area up front, but he really enjoys cooking some food for himself. And handling storage, It might look like a dog house. It is a dog house. They're both not here, though. Although they do the funniest thing, where if you cook things and they walk over there and they start eating it, it's like they go, thank you for this. Yeah, Cinderace also lives in the grass. I really haven't given these people a lot of houses. Public transportation. I know that's something that you love. Anyone should love public transportation. Tyranitar kind of lives in the middle of dirt. He just kind of showed up here. This home is actually shared by Dartrix and Honchkrow. Honchkrow just really likes the stand, and Dartrix likes the house, but he wanted the stand, so I just kind of continued working on that. And also on top of the hill, way up there in those patches of grass, there's both Murkrow and Chatot. They're gonna get moved. They have nice plans to have a house right above the stage over there next to the windmill. But that's for another time. And down here we have Ludicolo Pond. But here's Lotad, here's Ludicolo, and here's Lombre. They all get to live here, but they actually spend most of their time over here. This is where the majority of the time likes to hang out, and their nice little hot springs. And it is a stellar place to hang out. You always feel nice and refreshed after hanging out in the hot springs, including Politoad's house. What I planned on one of them to be able to have a house over here, but nobody is remotely interested, even though it's right here. Imagine having your door right in the front of a hot spring. I think that's an incredible idea. And we'll get up there later. But first, we have to loop back around over here. First, Charcadet's house. Charcadet gets to live over here next to the lava. He really wants to move, though. He's actually kind of iffy on his little house. I actually think he would prefer going somewhere else. I think he'd prefer not just being over here by himself in the lava. We're going to go back up here for a split second, because this is where Roly-Coly and Colossal and Magmar all live. They love it up here. Bastiodon, you're spoiling us. What could this last path possibly be? Well, Bastiodon, let's find out. Don't die. He's alive. We're good. No! No! Welcome to the Gimmighoul Museum. Been a work in progress bringing this place back up to speed. Oh, hey. What? He moved! As you can see, every fossil is here. Every single one. This is where our little boy Shieldon would be if he wasn't living somewhere else. Hey. And of course, you see it up there. Armarouge gets to have his own little section, and Cerulege gets to have his own little section. This is where the museum's director will live. Just give him some time. And back here, we have our sound team. This is where they tend to record. They handle the announcements here at the museum and also like to record songs on the side. 2-in-1 deal. There are plenty of other places at the museum. You get a nice view of the cave if you're over here and taller than 6 feet. For Auroras, that would actually be a great balcony. For the rest, you know. And I bet you're wondering where my house is. Well, wonder no longer. I live right next to the hot springs. See, I told you somebody should live over here. Yep. It's all about location, really. Like, you know, look, as you know, the realtor's life is always full of a lot of, you know, large money. We can't stay in one place very often. You'd think that a realtor's money would get you more, but, you know, it's all, like I said, all about location. All about location. All right, if those places haven't convinced you yet, we have one more stop on our journey. I'm losing them. Please, we gotta find somewhere. Maybe you don't like the fine arts. Maybe you don't like the beach. Maybe you don't like a nice, quiet town. Maybe you want something more urban. I have one more place to show you. Welcome to Sparkling Skylands. You walk in and the first thing you see is the nice Pokemon Center. Again, just like in the first town, all about community. A nice, close-knit community. Everybody works here. Everyone has jobs. Plenty of jobs to go around. This is where Typhlosion likes to work. Typhlosion lives outside. And if you need something built, there's no one better at building than Tinkaton, the Tank Master. And we have plenty of these areas around the town. These nice little buildings. We got the Tank Master's bed, and she loves tools, and she loves metal. And if she needs to get supplies, she goes over here to the Pokemart. Of course, we already have somebody working here as well. Mischievous loves working over here. Got plenty of stuff. She always has a gamer chair. She's a real gamer. And just outside the Pokemon Center, of course, Tank Master's here, and this is the Duskull and Dusclops house. They love weird things. He's sleeping right now. But that's why he also has some teeth and a fun bed, and they like glowing lights, and they like containers. They like boxes. They both actually really like their house. Don't pay attention to that guy yet. I'm gonna have to use my party trick to transform to show you where Watro lives. Transformation. Watro lives in a nice little birdhouse on top of the building. He loves lights, and he loves the beach stuff. So this is where Watro lives, and he loves it. It's his favorite place in the whole world. We can even build houses that are customly designed for you. Please live here. Yeah, he loves his house. He wants to stay here forever. And if you look here, you'll have my house. Don't pay attention to who lives here. Don't look at that. This is my bed. This is not Corvus Squire's house. This is a bit misleading. This is actually a little misleading. This is my bed. This is part of my house. And this is Gardevoir's. This is my vanity to change my appearance. To explain the Corvus Squire's house thing, similar to Watro, up on top of the house, we have bird houses. This is where the birds live. Corvus Squire loves wood. He loves cutting things up. Corvus Squire thinks it's awesome. I'm great at making bird houses. If you're a bird, please live here. You notice I didn't put Corvin Knight around here, but there's a very specific reason why Corvin Knight doesn't want to live down here. Very specific reason why Corvin Knight really doesn't want to live down here. Why is she sleeping outside? This is a work in progress. The Abras are building a house over here. They really want to live out here. The only problem is that Typhlosion moved into the bed over there when I was in the middle of building. So I have to figure out where he wants to live. But once that's done, this is going to be a nice purple building with a nice red interior, similar to Alakazam's old place. He does not live here yet. It's just Abra and Kadabra. But give it some time. This place is going to be fantastic. You're going to have a nice fortune teller outside. And of course, you have Conkeldurr out here, providing a nice construction with his little Dreamcast. We have Froakie out here listening to his tunes outside of Raichu's shop. For some reason, Raichu's not here. Raichu is never here. I'm going to be 100% honest. Raichu's never here. Usually somebody else is always running the shop. Usually Alakazam's actually out here running the shop, but he's not here today. And Pupitar really wanted to live in here. He's watching TV. Is he sleeping? I think he's watching TV. Let's just say that. He's got one eye open. This is Dragonite Pond. He's got all of his clocks because he's had a horrible time waking up. Can't relate to that. Then we have Poliwhirl. He actually moved into Dragonite Pond. I was really trying to get Dragonair because Dratini moved in. But, you know, Dragonair and Poliwhirl's an honorary Dragonite. That whole island over there has nothing. This area right here, next to nothing. It's got some places that are ready for building, but there's nothing there at the moment. That's where Tinkaton used to live, but Tinkaton has moved. But despite the fact that nobody lives over on that section, I do need to show you the work in progress, so you have an idea of what's going to happen if you move over here to the Sparkling Skylands. Sparkling Skylands are a great place to live, so I got to show you what's over there and what's coming. Considering how great it already is, we do need to show you that before you show you the main event. Welcome to the Sparkling Skylands downtown. We are currently in progress of building this whole area up. We even have some areas that have functioning doors and electricity. That's the goal, to build this entire place up so that Pokemon can live here. I'm thinking about putting a bunch of connecting little paths like the one I took down here to go between the buildings. Or just having a bunch of bird Pokemon. This is where the old gym used to be. It's honestly kind of small. Maybe the gym was bigger back in the day and we lost a lot of it, but it's kind of a small place. Plus, the downtown has very easy access back to Withering Wastes. But as you can see, I added plenty of rooms, plenty of stuff over here. The door doesn't open. And trust me, it still works. This one opens just fine. See, this is what it would look like if you lived in one of these houses. Even has its own hydroelectricity. I just need to add one cable over here. Do I have one? As I was building the place up, I kind of want it to not be yellow, though. The yellow's fine, but I think having a bunch of different, more unique buildings is more fun than just having a bunch of the exact same building. So that's kind of the direction I'm planning on going with this area. We have a couple more spots to go before we go to the main event of the tower. This is where Alakazam normally lives, over to the left. He has his own little nice purple room. You go in here and it's nice and pleated. It's very nice and comfy, very luxurious. But over here, we have the Sand Castle. This is where the Flygon family lives. They kind of love it here. They're just like, yo, sand? That's awesome. And there was plenty of sand around here to use. But one last thing on this island before we go to the next island. If we sneak around over here, we'll find the fighting dojo. There's only one person who lives here. I offered to clean up, but he likes all the rocks. And he's got a good friend in Flygon. He's trying to teach him how to punch, but those little arms aren't going to do much. And the final thing to mention before we get to the tower is this nice island over here. It's completely undeveloped, but it is guarded by one giant sea serpent down there. This is the Lake of Rage 2. And here he lives. He gets to hang out and have a big old lake by himself because he just likes his alone time. It's not that he's unfriendly, you know what I mean? He just likes his alone time. All right, as we have our ascent, we are going to the tower. First things first, we have a few things outside of the tower. We have Meowscarada's house, and we have Altaria, who lives in the birdhouse behind it, because she likes loud things, and then Meowscarada showed up. But as we enter the tower, everything seems a bit normal here. We have a nice little section over here. This is where Porygon lives. Porygon likes to man the stand and invite people into the building. First, we go to the first floor of the building, which is the game area. This is where all the gamers hang out. Over here, we have a nice little play area for the gamers, mainly the one gamer, Snivy. Snivy loves this place. And that's also because Snivy's parents live upstairs. Snivy's whole family lives upstairs. Oh, there's Servine, your older brother over here playing games with Porygon Z, who owns the arcade. And of course, you have Metagross over here and Matang, all of the gamers in one place. And their gamer lights. Look at the nice blue gamer lights up there. They're not as bright as I wanted them to be, but the concept is there. Eventually, it'll all look a lot like the gym, instead of being just metal floors. Our next stop is the cafeteria. After a hard time of gaming, you can come in here and relax. There's a shop here. I've never seen anyone come here to work. Not a single time since I've been playing this game. For the 3 weeks that I've been distracted and not doing things that are important, I've never seen a Pokemon here. They're too busy gaming, I suppose. And there's this empty area over here. Again, nothing spawning here. That's fine though. I think the only thing left to spawn here is Miss Magius, but she only spawns at night. And then this is Porygon 2's room. He handles the wares and all that stuff over here. He loves this room. He thinks that this spot is amazing. I tried to move him. I thought about moving him, but he just thought it was so good. So I think it's neat to have a Porygon on each floor. Rather than taking the elevator, we're going to go up again, backstairs, to go up to the next floor. This is the library. This is where a lot of guys live. Ralts lives here. Perlia lives here. We have the mimes in the bathroom. They love it. And there's a furnace here, which I will explain in a second. First things first. Quilava also loves to live next to the fireplace, which is why Quilava's over here and not with the other two. But over here at the front, we have two more. Vulpix and Ninetales and their Arcanine plush. They love this area as well. They just like learning and having some books. They like it how it's nice and warm and toasty over here. They just love this place. But we have one more floor to go to, and then we are officially done with our tour. Welcome to the top of the building, the top of the tower. Here we have a nice little water area in the middle. On each side, we have Superior, who lives up here, and Servine, who lives over here. They get to be great and have a nice little overview. They're kind of the owners of the tower over here. And also in this bathtub, Dragonair showed up. So more snakes. This is Snake Tower. And then Dragapult runs the shop here. He really wanted it humid. He's not running the shop right now because it's also his house. He's just off duty. But if we go up here, you'll see we have Kilowattrel, who loves the beach stuff just like his son. And Corviknight. Corviknight finally gets to be seen. This is it. He mostly lives outside. So, as you can see, there's plenty of places in the world of Pokopia for you to live. People love to hang out in my house. And I bet you're wondering why Mewtwo and Mew live here. I had nowhere to put them. And then I thought it was funny because I already had Gardevoir living in my house and I'm Ditto. And there's all the theories about is Ditto a failed clone of Mew? So I was like, what if my clones get to be here? He likes it dark. I think I might move him upstairs. But for now, he really likes this area. He's like, this is good. Me and my roommates. Mew and Mewtwo. And also Froakie. Everyone loves to just walk in here. Maybe they just like the picture. Froakie was just in my gamer chair getting all sticky. I'm not sure what they just like to just hang out here. And you know what? That's fine. I just appreciate it that it's nice to be appreciated. Mewtwo likes my golden ball. I don't know how to end this video. And that is all of the areas of Pokopia. I hope you find some nice place to live here. Yep, all of them. Every single place. Mewtwo, your tail's getting in the way. Every place. All the places that you could possibly live in Pokopia. No other places. See? No other places. There's just the 4. Yep, only 4. That's it. Bye. I looked away for a second. How did you get into my house? Why are you walking on my computer? Professor!